Welcome back to MiiBooth. Irfan here. Today I'm going to be unboxing and testing the Hohem iSteady X. Now this is Hohemtech's smallest 3-axis smartphone gimbal yet and pretty much the world's lightest. Hohemtech's gimbals have proven to be efficient and reliable in the past, and I speak with experience because I have tested both the iSteady Mobile and the iSteady Pro for action cameras on this channel right here. And I want to find out if this one stands up to the mark. I'm going to be showing you everything there is to it. Its size, its features, its usage, the ease of use, if it works fine with both Android and iOS, which is a big question, and most importantly, is smaller better when it comes to smartphone gimbals? So without wasting any further time, let's go ahead and unbox it.
If gadget reviews, DIY projects and life hacks are your thing, then consider subscribing to MiiBooth and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the action.
On the front of the box, we don't have much other than a picture of the gimbal. On the back, we have a couple of options and features mentioned, and then a bunch of QR codes for its smartphone app and some basic tutorials. Inside the box, we have the gimbal, a small tripod, a USB-C charging cable, a hanging strap, and a small carrying pouch for the gimbal. In folded position, the iSteady X is the smallest gimbal I've come across. With a folded height of 17.9 centimeters, it is just a tad taller than the iPhone 11 or XR for that matter. Even when fully unfolded, it is not more than 23 centimeters tall. It is also incredibly light, probably because it is completely made of plastic. It only weighs 259 grams and can handle a phone weighing up to 280 grams, which is enough for any phone you can come across as of today. For example, the iPhone 11 Pro Max weighs 226 grams and the Note 20 Ultra weighs 208 grams. Even the new LG Wing weighs 260 grams. It has a very clean 3-button only interface which seems to be super simple to use. There's a button on the side which can be used for zoom and focus, and a USB-C port here for charging. A 1/4-inch screw hole at the bottom allows it to mount the small tripod or any other tripod. Now the race to the smallest gimbal is quite obvious. It's like the Nokia phones era all over again. The question to be asked is, can it do everything the full-size gimbals like the iSteady Mobile can do, or at least justify its own price point? We'll find that out in a while. The gimbal folds in a unique position. There's a lock on each axis which you'll have to release in order to make it work. The phone holder can fit any phone, and it's got rubber pads on the inside to keep your phone scratch-free. Once you load your phone, you have to balance it horizontally first before powering up the gimbal to protect its motors. Now once your phone is balanced and the gimbal is switched on, you'll need to download the Hohem Pro app and connect the gimbal to the phone through the app to take full advantage of it. And if it's your first time, you'll need to activate the gimbal as well. You'll have to create an account with your phone number and a password, and you'll require that to log in every time you change your phone. Now I'm not very fond of this feature as I'd like to simply launch the app and kick off. Once inside the app, the first thing you can take control of are the 4 different working modes. Now the default is pan, tilt, follow. The second one is pan follow, where the tilt and roll motors stay locked. The third one is all locked. And finally POV mode, which is basically all follow. All 4 modes have their own uses in different situations. From settings, you can also play around with the response times of the motor. For example, if you keep it on soft, the gimbal pans nice and soft when you turn it around, but if you switch to speedy or sports mode, it becomes much more snappy and the response is immediate. If you look at the gimbal from the top, you'll notice something unique. You can see how the tilt motor has been pushed aside so it doesn't obstruct the wide angle mode in smartphones. Now this is thoughtful and does actually allow for a phone to take full advantage of its wide angle mode, but there is a trade-off here. The tilt angle is limited only to 40 to 45 degrees. The pan motor goes around 320 degrees and the roll motor also close to 320 degrees. Now before I move to the app and its features, I'd like to show you how it will work if you simply decide to use it for stabilizing video from the phone's default camera. Here is a video made by my phone without any help, simply handheld. I start with walking and then gradually transition into slow jogging. Now here is the same thing but with the gimbal. The difference is really apparent when you see the videos side by side. Even with the front camera, this is how it looks when vlogging with the phone on the small tripod. And now I'm doing the same thing but with the phone on the iSteady X instead of the tripod. Now I'm walking and recording, and you can clearly see the video is far more stable than the previous one. If you're recording and decide to roll over, not you, the phone I mean, the auto rotation function makes the phone roll over with the movement of the gimbal to give you a very neat effect. Of course, you can toggle this option on or off in the app settings in case you're not a fan of it. Now, a balancing part is just the most basic elementary function of the gimbal. The app is what gives every gimbal its unique touch. When you launch the app and connect it to the gimbal successfully, you can press the start recording button to open up the camera. Now you can also control the functions on the screen with these buttons below. The joystick, as you know, is used to move the phone around, and for this it doesn't have to be connected through the app. With this button you can press it once to take a picture or twice to start or stop recording videos. If you press the same button 3 times, it switches to the front camera. The button on the side can be used to zoom in and out. If you push it upwards, it zooms in, and if you push it downwards, it zooms out. And if you tap on this F on the screen, you can use the same button now to change the focus of the scene manually. The last button here also doesn't require the gimbal to be connected to the app, it just have to be switched on. You can press it once to instantly switch to portrait, and I feel this is one of the most handiest feature you can come across. You can switch from landscape to vertical or the other way instantly, and there's no need to fidget around with the phone like I've seen in other gimbals earlier. If you press the same button twice, it will simply recenter the gimbal wherever it is. Now the camera app is pretty user-friendly and free from complicated settings. You've got the home, flash, toggle front and back camera, face tracking. Now when you switch it on, it will automatically detect a face and start following it. Very handy for vlog style videos, and it can do that in the front and back camera. There's also object tracking, where you can select an object on the screen by simply highlighting it, and it will start following it. Now, however, don't expect miracles from it. There are limitations to the hardware and the tracking algorithm, so you can't expect it to follow very quick moving objects. Finally, we've got settings from where you can play around with motor speeds, joystick controls, and so much more. Now in shooting modes, we've got the standard photo, video, slow motion if your phone has that, and still time-lapse, which I have discovered recently that you can get extremely creative with. All it requires is a lot of patience and a lot of walking. And finally, moments. Now this is where it gets interesting. So it has this bunch of preset effects that you can use to get some amazing shots. First one is Inception, 180 and 270 degrees. Now you just press start and preferably move forward or backwards. And it also helps if there is a subject. You can get some really awesome shots with this effect. Second is called Fantastic Rotation, where the phone randomly rocks side to side in sync with the background audio, which is also preset, so you just have to toggle it on and off. Third is a panoramic video, which just like its name is a 15 seconds video where the phone pans to its full capacity from one end to the other. Fourth is one of my favorite shooting modes. It's called the Smart Motion Time-Lapse. Here the phone will record a time-lapse video while slowly panning across 90, 120 or 180 degrees depending on which you choose. It will record for 1, 5, 15 or 30 minutes and produce a video of 15 seconds every time. So the longer you record, the more good looking the result will be. This is a 5-minute time-lapse over 120 degrees that I recorded. The only limitation here is that it can only pan horizontally, unlike the Hohemtech iSteady mobile, where you can select multiple waypoints, including tilting the phone up and down, zooming in, zooming out. Nevertheless, the result here is also pretty good. So the fifth moment is Dolly Zoom, also known as vertigo, a great effect where the background seems to be expanding or constricting while the subject remains the same in size. How you can achieve this is either by zooming out when moving close to an object or zooming in while you're moving away from it. This feature allows you to zoom in or out without your interference. All you have to do is move close or away from the subject. When you press start, you have to select an initial zoom level by adjusting the slider between 1 and 4 and press the add button. Then slide the zoom bar to a different position and press add. Now select your time between 5, 10 or 15 seconds. I prefer to keep it to 5 as the effect is more prominent in a short span of time compared to longer clips. Now press start, and remember, if you have selected to zoom in from 1 to 4, which is from wide to telephoto, you have to move away from the subject. Your only goal is to make sure the size of the subject remains the same, and this is how it should look. Finally, we've got two more templates called Dynamic and Lucky. Basically, they're just a compilation of 4 short clips where the gimbal will move on pan in a different direction every time to make a quick cut type of video. Now, that's pretty much all that the gimbal can do. There's also a playback button on the camera screen from where you can check out all your recently recorded media. One main question which rises is, how does it work with Android phones, since all I have shown so far has been on an iPhone? Well, I went ahead and tested the exact same features on a Realme 5 Pro, which is running on Android 10, and feature for feature it performed pretty much the same. The only differences I saw is that the app has not been updated yet to the version which is available on iPhone, so you don't have object tracking feature. Another difference is in the moments mode, where the last 2 features called Dynamic and Lucky templates are not available. And also the Smart Timelapse mode, the max angle available in Android is 90 degrees compared to 180 on the iPhone. And also sometimes when you start motion time-lapse, it starts recording but the phone is not moving. Now this was also an issue with iPhones earlier, and I raised it to them, and Hohem was actually quite quick to fix it in their next firmware update. Hopefully they'll do the same with Android as well. That being said, the differences are in the app, but the overall performance of the hardware itself is pretty good. Talking about battery, it runs on an 18650 lithium-ion battery, 2000 mAh, takes about a little more than 2 hours to charge, and can give up to 8 hours of playtime, which is amazing. Now that's pretty much it, guys. Time for verdict. It is a very easy to use smartphone gimbal with some awesome features available at the click of a button. I miss the option of having that extensive tilt as it is with full-size gimbals, but the small size and portability sort of makes up for it. It is great for social media enthusiasts who don't want to carry big gear around with them but still want some decent stable videos. The one-click orientation switch is great and deserves praise. All in all, a great device for $69, definitely worth a try. That's it for now, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit that like button below and share the video with your friends and family. While you're at it, subscribe to MiiBooth for more gadget reviews, DIYs and life hacks. You can also follow me on Instagram and other social media. All the links are in the description box below. Click on the thumbnails to watch my other videos or check out my YouTube channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching.